Hi everybody and welcome to episode 3 of Back to Basics with me, Sims, Adam and Slinky. I don't like to say Adam, I always forget your name, AZ. Guys, we've got a big show ahead today, a massive show. It could be a little bit messy as we've got quite a few different things to do and we've got so much to talk about. First of all, we're going to jump straight in, we're going to go to a usual Halo Bulletin. We're not going to spend too long because it's not massive, it's not big, there's a few things we spoke about, weapon change, things like that, but we're going to go through it. A quick look at the Halo 4 title update. We're going to look at the KoTH Cup Pro again. It's all going to be quick because we've got two big people on this show today. After we've done them, we are going to be speaking with Chris Mellor, the guy from EGL, the big dog himself. He is on the show in the background now and he is waiting. We're going to be looking at him and drilling him on EGL. We've got some big questions coming from you guys at the community. We want to know what's going on with Halo with the launch of i49. We want to get what he thinks about it and why we should go to EGL, why he wants us to go to EGL, why we should give us our hard-earned cash to him. You know, we want to know that. So he's here, he's going to answer these questions. Then after that, we've got the bigger dog himself, Meekel. Meekel is on the show and he is going to tell us all about i49. Any questions that he thinks that we're going to have, anything like that, he's going to give us an update on i49, what's going to be happening, where it's coming. He's also got something else on the ATM, the Blackmagic ATM, which the King Roy also needs our help with as a community. If we want to do things good, we've got to get together and we've got to help out. So Meekel's going to go all on that one. Yeah, it's going to be a little bit messy, a little bit here and there. I do apologise, but there is a lot. But I promise you, if you stick with us for the next hour or however long it is, I promise you, you will not regret it. Also, I want to say thank you. We set up a new YouTube channel. I think, was that you, Harry, or Hamza? Who did the new YouTube channel?
It was Hamza.
Hamza. We do have a new YouTube channel. If you want to follow us, it's back to, but the word to, not the number, it's Back to Basics TV. If you could follow us, that would be great. We had over episode 2. I think I checked it earlier on. It was 950. 1,000 views on episode 2. Guys, I can't thank you enough. It's brilliant. It's giving, you know, hashtag Save Halo. We keep saying it. We want to do it. We're a community. Content is brilliant, and we're here to give it to you. We want to help this community out. We want to grow this. We want to make it what it is. Right, that's pretty much it for the intro. We'll start off then with the, as we normally do, Halo Bulletin. I'm going to move to Harry, Mr. Slinky, and AZ will be doing a couple of things on there as well. Big Adam dog. Harry, take it away, pal.
Yeah, pretty much. Halo Bulletin is just sort of reaffirmed some of the stuff we knew already in terms of weapon balancing and stuff. Just a few updates from the 343 boys on that. In terms of the DMR and the light rifle, the red reticle range has been reduced. That is different from actual range of the weapons because they still work effectively. It just reduces the auto aim. If you imagine when you're scoping in with a DMR, at a certain range you get a red reticle, which obviously assists your shots. It just sort of reduces that a little bit. Kill time wise, light rifle still outkills the DMR at range. I don't have any exact kill times on that, but that's what I'm hearing from 343. The spread of the carbine as well has also been tightened, similar to what they did. I don't think it's a complete tighten as it was in Halo Reach with the DMR. It's just tightened a little bit to improve the spread, make it a little bit more consistent online. And also, lastly, the Magnum has received a damage bump, which will make it more effective. I don't know if that will affect the actual flagnum, the Magnum that you hold when you use the flag. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. The weapon balancing is dropping June 3rd. Other than that, there is nothing in terms of the actual Halo Bulletin that is of interest, really, to be honest. So I'm going to throw it over to Adam, and he's going to talk you through the recent title update coming to Halo 4.
Since the new update, for those other things about the weapons is June the 3rd, I believe.
Yes.
Well, at the moment, what we have to deal with, we've been given the famous Red X, which has existed since even Halo 2, I'm pretty sure. And
Yes.
Halo 3, and even in Reach, there was, you know, an X when you died, and, you know, in this game, it was impossible. At the start, a lot of people, including Fragbay, was one of the main people behind maybe throwing the radar on, and when you died, and you looked at the radar, there was an X in the corner of the map, and it showed you roughly where people were, but it wasn't a massive indicator. But the X in this game, it recently was white, but now it's been made red. It's 1.5 times bigger, and it stays there for 4 seconds now instead of 2. And before this update, when someone died, you literally could see it and it was gone. And, but now that it's actually here, and it's a big massive X. I've seen it in custom games when I've been playing, and it's a massive like factor. Like, and it's actually, it is bigger, but depending how far away you are, it's actually the size of it. Like, if you're really close to around a corner, the X is quite big, and then obviously if you're further away, it's quite small. So it helps a lot, but I still don't want to hear anyone using the call-outs on my X. It's a terrible call-out.
No, it's not. No. I take that back. Even when I first started, even still before the X came back, I'm still saying, there's one shot on my X. One shot on my X. There's no X.
I think it'll be really interesting to see in terms of our settings and the throwdown settings that we implemented, whether they remove the friends only or teammates only radar, because before that was only being used so we could actually see the X's. Now that the X's are re-implemented, maybe they might remove it, because back in Halo 3 and Halo 2 obviously we had no radar. Yeah, I don't know whether they'll keep the friends only radar. I think that's up to Ghost Army obviously, and Ramirez, the governor of our settings, so it'll be, be good to see.
I personally think they should get rid of the radar. I know this is probably a different topic for a different day, but you should probably know where your teammates are majority of the time, regardless of the little yellow dot in your radar. And I know it helps because sometimes I look at it and see if someone's actually stepping out around a corner in the instance like in a scrim. But you should be able to communicate and know that someone's there rather than like having to look at the radar. We haven't had it through Halo until now, but anyway, different topic, different day, and the Red X is here. And we're happy to see it.
It's gonna stay. It's gonna stay. And it's gonna work. That's pretty much it, guys. It's gonna be, that was a short and sweet one. We generally, I think I said at the start, we want to keep it short and sweet anyway today because we want to get more time with our two guests on. So thankfully, at least it was. I think you'll agree, lads. It was short and sweet anyway, wasn't it? Should we do the? We'll go on to the. I don't know what's the best way to pronounce it. Would you say KoTH or would you say KoTH?
I'd say KoTH.
KoTH. We're going to talk about the KoTH Cup Pro by Ludus, the LILLE LAN at 29th and 30th of June. LILLE.
Did you just say Lily?
Lily. I always say Lily. I know. Is it LILLE? What is it?
Lille.
I'm going with Lily. So it's in Lille in France somewhere.
Oh,
you got to have some fun, boys. Yeah. So will any of you guys make an appearance there?
I actually looked at the flights, and it's actually more expensive to fly to the airport in Lille than it is to go from like Paris. And the flights, I mean, I checked the dates from like now till then, like booked really early in advance, and it's really expensive. I'm talking like more than £500 like return, and it's quite expensive, especially for a tournament. So maybe there's other ways. Maybe go to Paris, get a train. There's lots of different ways. But from what I saw, it looked really well, and there's a lot of good teams that went to it. So why not? But it'd be a good wouldn't say practice because that's the wrong word, but I'd say it'll be a good warm up, especially for our next event, which is Insomnia or i49, as it is called.
Sorry to interrupt you, Adam, but the problem with this KoTH Cup in Lille is that it's only open to 12 teams.
They have up there, haven't they?
Last I checked, they were on 12 teams. I don't know if they've actually expanded that, because I think they should. I think there's a lot of UK teams, having heard about High Society, who went to the one in Paris. They've testified that was a really, really good LAN event. So I think it would be wise for them to open that up to more teams, because I feel there's at least 3 or 4 UK teams that could come over.
Was it originally on 10, or the old one 10? And the other 12?
I'm pretty sure it was 12, and I think it was the winner and the runner-up of the last event get priority. They don't get guaranteed a place, but they get priority in actually getting into the tournament. So to be honest, I don't really know a lot about the KoTH Cup.
It's I know for me, I mean, I probably could afford to go to it, but I'm quite happy at the moment, looking forward to what we've got at home myself. That's kind of my stance on things. I'm really looking forward to seeing what Chris has got to say about what's possibly coming up in the future, and certainly on i49. That's for me at the moment. That's kind of my instigation on that one.
I would like to say, just quickly, while you're on that subject, is pretty sure PJ made a thread on the forum about the teams that are interested and have went to the previous KoTH LAN. And if you look at the teams there, and there's a lot of teams there. I think there's 16 in general that were interested to go. Obviously, there's so many could go, but consider how many teams we have and the teams they have there. If a lot of our teams went over, it could be quite a big tournament. So if they opened it up, it could be a lot more beneficial to everyone involved.
To be honest, if I don't want to look like I'm being detrimental to the KoTH Cup in any way, shape or form, but personally, from my point of view, if it came down to a matter of money, I'd personally like to see the French teams and any other teams that go into that, if they were deciding between one or the other, for them to save their money and come to i49 and make it one of the biggest Halo events, Halo 4 European events that we have had to date. I think personally that's my stance on things. It's not the show, it's not anyone else's, but that's just my stance. If they had a choice of should we spend his money and go to LILLE and play this weekend and do his stuff. I'm laughing at Michael's face. Or can we save our money and can we go to i49? Personally, my recommendation is if you're doing it for the EU community, this is only my point of view, I'd say go to i49, come over to England, save that money that you go there and come to England and make it a bigger and more exciting and more fun i49.
Just like UCL Liverpool, when I had like 50-odd teams, it was great.
That's all I want to say. If we push, I'll be happy if we manage to push more than 25. But if we push 30, that would be one of the most epicest lands for a long time. If we push 30, it'd be fantastic. It'd be out of this world. Right. I'll start on that one, Harry. Anything else, do you think?
Not really. I can't honestly say I'll be attending because I don't actually have a passport and I don't really have the money to pay for flights as well as a passport, so I don't think I'll be attending. So.
You're already saving now for i49, aren't you?
Yeah, I know. It's hard times.
All that eBaying.
Yeah, I know.
Right then. Okay, so that's that way. So I think it's time to do the big question time. I would like to welcome onto the. Are we good to go then, Ennis? Are we good to do on this end? Should we do this? Right, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome onto the show Mr. Chris Mellor Marsh.
Ooh, yeah.
Hey there, Chris.
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey up, mate. Thank you very much for joining us on the show and welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
How are you today? You all right?
Yeah, every time you look in the camera, I feel like you're staring through to my soul. I've never seen anyone on a podcast like make eye contact with the camera so much. It's quite, yeah. I'm going to be thrown off for the rest of it.
You could do the, was it that KSI bloke's face?
Oh, the rape face when he turns away and he's like, I can't really do it. Mine was not all intimidating.
Back on subject. Right, thank you very much for joining us.
Sure.
Interesting week, interesting last few weeks to be honest with you over at topmid.eu. I'm sure you'll agree yourself. Spen's topic of pushing for better. I'm sure you've read it. I'm sure you've been through all the comments and you've had various different groups and conversations. Straight in there then, off top of your head, what did you think to it, and what's your straight up opinion and honest response to that post? As soon as you read it, what did you think?
I think it's justified in many ways. Slinky's putting me off of it. I think it is justified in many ways. When we've approached events, kind of putting this event to one side because, like, forgetting the switcher, forgetting the atom, that was, a genuine mistake, and it's something that we can't turn back ultimately. But so putting that event aside, we've kind of looked at it in many ways. In terms of the main stage time, for example, we've kind of looked at it. We obviously we've tried to kind of do what we thought at the time was probably best for the business, and that was kind of maintain those stream views. We've got Call of Duty in full flow. There's 10,000 people watching. In a way, we're disrupting the momentum by putting Halo on. In retrospect, that mindset is wrong because, all the Halo guys who've attended, they paid the same amount of money as the Call of Duty guys, and you guys deserve your moment in the spotlight as well. Even if it is viewed by fewer people, the guys at the event who paid to attend, those guys deserve the main stage feel, that atmosphere that's created when you play in the main stage, when you get that moment of glory, because that is the kind of the crowning jewel in the EGL, the EGL event experience is, to have your moment on the main stage and put your skills to the test. So I agree that, I think we've been unfair in that respect. And that's something that we definitely need to change, and I'm glad it has been addressed. So
with you saying there then, with you saying it was with the 10,000 people viewing in and things like that, and you made so was the call...
At EGLA, it wasn't. as I mentioned on the forum, we had intended at one point to get the game on the stage, but then, you know, reality kicked in and we were like, actually, you know, we're only going to be able to show one person's perspective and that kind of thing. And in the end, it was kind of decided that you guys would have to wait a bit as well because there was a match that had just started. It was going to be a bit of a delay. And so in the end, we thought, you know, we may as well, the Halo tournament's in full flow on the stations that are already available. So we kind of went with that. But, you know, like I said, putting that event to one side, if we just look at the events as a broad kind of spectrum, I think that going forward, it would be unfair to kind of, for Halo to constantly have a backseat. You know, you're getting solid turnouts continually. You've supported our events continually, and you know it would be unfair for you guys to not have your moments where you can showcase your skill on essentially what is, you know, the pinnacle of the EGL experience.
If there was a little trouble with the Switch, which made it to be one person's at some point of view and things like that, you were saying to do with 4 persons' point of view, you wouldn't want it. You'd want that on me.
It would have been 1.
So what if we could have got the equipment to get 4? What would the decision been then? Would it still have been a no?
It would have been on, and that was the thing, because we were actually trying to work out how we could do it, but in the end it was decided that it was unrealistic. I mean, obviously the Halo community has had main stage time at previous events. It's not something that we're opposed to. It's not like we're thinking, screw those guys kind of thing. But you know, moving away from that, I actually think that our kind of biggest crime in this whole thing has been that we have not interacted heavily enough with the community. We've kind of rested on our laurels. You know, took the fact that we speak to a few of the guys more, you know, almost for granted, rather than getting kind of knee deep in it all and talking to all you guys on a regular basis. I mean, other than Adam and Mike, I've never really spoken to you three in any kind of depth previously, and I think that's a failing on our part, and it's something that definitely needed addressing and kind of has been addressed, and you know, it's something that we will improve going forward.
Are you, as EGL then, are you going to be looking to actually get somebody, appoint somebody then essentially to look after the Halo more than anything else doing it ourselves? But are you actually going to have somebody interacting on the forums constantly a lot more, because we don't really see much from yourselves more than anything?
This is what I'm referring to, really. I think that this is something that we need to step up. Obviously, like Aaron is part of your community, but he's also part of EGL. But even then, he's not a fair go-between. It needs to be one of us guys, you know, the main guys kind of behind it, who are in the know what's going on, constantly in communication, kind of on the forum, rather than appointing somebody who's kind of a middleman. I mean, ultimately, people kind of, no disrespect to Aaron, no disrespect to anyone else who's been representing EGL on Halo forum, people want to speak to the main guys. That's just how it is. You know, you always want to go to the top, and I think that's a fair representation. You know, if you guys are spending £60+ to attend an event, plus hotel, plus travel, all that kind of stuff, you know, you want to be able to speak to the guys behind it and say, voice your concerns, you know, say what you like, say what you don't like, say how we can improve so we can take the product forward.
Well, can I make a suggestion then on that one? You're saying, like, with Carrot, and no disrespect to Carrot whatsoever, I think he does a fantastic job. I really like the guy myself, but I think one of your main problems there is that you're saying he has contact with us and he comes back to EGL and things like that. I think you need a player.
No, this is what I mean. We want to cut that middleman out. We don't.
Completely.
I mean, obviously, Aaron will remain involved. He does a good job, that kind of thing. He helps online. He puts in a shift at events. You know, I'm not questioning his commitment by any stretch, but like I said, it needs to be us on the forum. You know, in the trenches, as we often say. Like, you know, speaking to the guys firsthand rather than having a middleman. And you know, there's no point in it being a player, a representative, that kind of thing. It should be us, and it will be us. So
is that a definite from now on? That's going to happen then. We're going to see a lot more of you on there.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Nice smiling face.
Spot on then. All right then. Let's clear that one up. A couple of main. One question I'm going to fire it to you then. Apart from that, then. So you think the Spence post was just? Is there anything in there that you didn't find justified? Is there anything that you think was that you'd like to defend yourself on, that you think that was a bit strong and that's not true? Is there anything like that, or did you think you 100% agree with it? I'm just being fair here. I'm giving you a chance to say what you think and what you feel.
No, I wouldn't say that I disagreed strongly on any aspect of it, really. Like you said, you know, if there is other options out there, why would you guys not explore them? I kind of think that it is. There were certain implications that it should be like, you know, we've done EGL, let's put that to one side now, whatever. Whereas I think, like I've posted multiple times on the forums, it'd be good if we could work with you guys to kind of improve EGL as an event, because, you know, EGL is here to stay. We will look to continue developing it going forward. And I've said multiple times, and a few people have accused me of this being an effort to deflect it, when it isn't really. This is just what we're planning on doing, is that we want to be able to help build online, get online tournaments going and that kind of thing. So I think I've always been of the opinion that online interaction and stuff like that is very vital to building communities up.
I agree with some slight point there, but the problem is, and again, this may be just our community, or this may, the amount of times you see the online cups and things like that, the online play. I mean, the EGL tournament was a massive success, and the 50% off the thing, that was good because people are playing for something. As far as online cups and things like that, where there's nothing to win.
We are talking prizes, in fairness. Here, I'm not talking just nothing, because I know that certain, it's hard to get as motivated for that, really. Especially
there's no point. If teams would rather scrim than play, Tech would rather play against inciting all night rather than play a bunch of randoms in a quick tournament.
No, I agree. Because, there's always the thing where where you get a few people who kind of take the mick, and since they're playing the top team and they want to screw them over and stuff like that, and it just ends up being a waste of their time. It needs to be worthwhile for the people to compete. And that's something that we're looking to get involved with as well. And having kind of been away for the forum, or at least not posting for quite a while, I don't really want to fly back in and say yeah, fair enough, but this is what you should be doing. But I do have some opinions on how I believe that the Halo community could develop collectively, and I think there is room for improvement. Sure, I mean, I'm sure you guys agree. And I think that the kind of increasing the online activity in terms of tournaments is vital for any community to grow, because it's rare that somebody is going to go from just playing online to competing at events. It's such a big step. They need that middle ground where they're competing. I mean, I can speak for myself. I speak to Mike, who's the same. We used to play back in the day on Rainbow Six, and that was kind of what gave us the taste of what competition is about, and that's what players need. Unless you get kind of taken in by the atmosphere of the forums and the community, you get to become friends with all the forum members. That's another route to events. But for people who are often more competitive, that isn't enough for them to attend, because they think, it's a waste of money if I can't win. They need that kind of the thing that grabs them and gives them the bite of what an event is. And then all of a sudden they're like, actually, yeah, I want to take my skills to the next level. And I think that is huge for any community that wants to expand.
Timescale on these coming down then?
We will be rolling them out we're talking weeks, basically.
Yeah.
Again, we're going to come down to prize money at some point. Obviously that needs to be addressed, and undoubtedly it will be addressed in this. We're going to be talking hardware prizes in the short term, and then in the medium term. So, well before the end of the year, we're going to be looking at prize money tournaments ultimately on a consistent basis as well, because there's no point in having one-off tournaments, because it doesn't do much.
So you do need consistency, and you do need them to be good and run well as well. I think that's the online cups. I know Nick's got his work cut out with people not reporting losses and things like that, and credit where credit's due to Nick. He does come on and he does chase up losses and things like that. But I do think you need a lot more people knee-deep in that, monitoring it, doing it properly.
Yeah, you do.
On a regular basis, and giving, like you said before, who wants to win nothing, essentially. Teams would rather play good teams and get better and have practice. But if there's something there, it has to be good and has to be worthwhile.
Well, it comes down to a few things, really, because if I throw together a 16-team tournament with no prize, that's just not interesting. No. But if you have no prize, but you've got a lot of teams, then that is still quite interesting, because you're still beating a lot of people. But so it's got to be one or the other. If it's going to be lowish numbers, you need to at least motivate the people to play in some way, either with prestige or with prizes. And in this instance, at least at the beginning, consistent, like I said, we're going to be having prizes. At a later date, if we start getting a lot of interest, we might introduce a higher quantity of tournaments. Some might not include prizes if there's the interest for that. But in the short term, we're going to be looking to introduce, consistent prize tournaments, kind of grow that part of the game, and hopefully we'll see more teams come into it. One thing I actually want to pick up on before is you guys, when you were speaking about the event in LILLE, or LILLE as you called it, is we do the same on Call of Duty with Deserto, and I think you guys at Top Mid are guilty of this as well. Is we always refer to the English-speaking portion of the community as the European community. I actually think that's wrong. I think it is actually just the English-speaking community. So when we talked about, save your money and support the European community, what you're actually saying is save your money and support the English-speaking part of the community. And I think this is another aspect that we need to improve on all the games, Halo, Call of Duty, Gears of War, to improve these scenes, is we need to find some way to unify all these scenes. You know, the French scene, the Spanish scene. You know, whatever other scenes, the German scene, the English-speaking scene, which is generally, you know, English, Dutch, Nordic teams. Get all these guys competing together under one roof, and that's how we'll see a huge tournament.
You see, you say that, but then I'd have to refer to the I'm sorry, I can't remember the name of it. The Spanish one. That's just
LVP.
been. Yeah, and you look at that, and that was an English invite-only tournament. Now you're saying supporting the English community and things like that. They're supporting themselves. You know, they're supporting a Spanish-run tournament, a Spanish tournament, essentially. And that thing blew 90% of the stuff out of the window. Stop it, Harry. 90% of the things out of the window. You know what I mean? And it's... to say that we're supporting the English community, if they're supporting their own brand themselves and, you know, their own Spanish, and they're giving them something that is like that, that's almost on borderline with MLG. Is that not the better way to go then? Support your own players and support your own people.
Well, yeah, but this is what I'm saying. You actually said to the French guys, like,
yeah,
come to England, and this is what I mean, because if they watch this, they're going to be thinking, you know, why would I do that? Why not come to us? And this is what we kind of, I think this is part of what we need to do, is break down these barriers. So people are all kind of thinking on a united front and thinking, actually, this is the European scene now. And, you know, and Halo's not the only scene that's like this. They're all like this at the moment. You know, it's because of the language barrier. And this is why, ultimately, MLG gets the big numbers, because they are all one scene. It is all the North American scene. There's no language barrier. There's none of that nonsense. You know, whereas... as it stands, English-speaking players want to play with English-speaking players, French-speaking players want to play with French-speaking players, and so on. And that is something I think we need to kind of kick down, and that's something we want to try and build on the EGL website.
Out of interest, Mellow, what are you doing to try and draw in these sort of mainland European sort of non-English speaking teams, or like aspects of the community? What are you doing to bring them to EGL, not only on Halo front, but also in terms of Call of Duty and Gears of War and FIFA and other fronts?
Right, we have started rolling this out on Call of Duty, or at least testing the water with it, because we've got just easier access to the staff at the moment, and it's a simpler way to test it, basically. But what we're trying to do at the moment is offer like regionalized tournaments. So we're running a couple of Spanish-only cups, we're running a couple of French-only cups. We're using French staff, so it's easier for them to communicate, that kind of thing. And we're getting them onto the EGL website. We're giving them a taste of EGL, and then hopefully, you know, they'll see that, they'll like playing in the cups, and then all of a sudden, you know, maybe they'll think, oh, I'll play in the European Cup. And the next thing you know, we've got more French teams mingling with the English teams. And, you know, this might not work. Ultimately, it is a test. It's something that I've wanted to do for a while. You know, we've approached companies. We've said, this is something we want to do. We need X budget to be able to staff it, to be able to broadcast it, to do all this kind of thing. And if we can kind of get that in, and if it works, then I think that this could be one of the solutions to kind of break it all down. But I think online, going back to online, I think it's vital to bring everyone together, is online. It's the stepping stone to LAN.
Fair enough. I'll roll with that one then. It's
anyway, I might get it wrong.
No, I do think you're right. I mean, like you say, the more that was kind of my thinking about. I'm not saying everyone come to England as such. I just want everyone to come together for a bloody damn good LAN.
That's what we all want.
Really queer, that, isn't it? Yeah, that's the whole kind of point of it. Really, we all come together and we all do a really, really good job. Can I just quickly, Meekel, is your mic on? You on there? Is there anything you think that EGL could do better to bring everyone together, or anything that you think that they could? I don't want to come back to the forum situation, but is there anything kind of that they could do to bring us all together, essentially, or they could incorporate and use with the forums to do?
You know, it's tough because within Europe you've got a bit of segregation amongst the communities. You know, every sort of country has their own community. We've got top mid. We've sort of been lucky with who we've got. We've got people from sort of the Scandinavian countries, and also from especially Holland. But if you look at sort of the France sort of side of things, particularly, they've got their own website. It's a really nice looking website, halo.fr. If you're ever
I've seen it.
Speak French. But of course, it's hard if you don't have any sort of ties with that sort of side of the community already. It's very hard to put a foot in, especially if you're from EGL and you suddenly go, oh, hey guys, we run tournaments over here. You might not have heard of us, you know, come along. It's very, very difficult to do that, and And the thing is, you know, as much as I don't want to say it, if you think of all the games that EGL cover, you know, they've got to put the resources where they can, and obviously Call of Duty is going to be one of the major focal points for EGL.
Yeah, I mean, I can't disagree with that. But at the moment, especially the main reason we're rolling out these tournaments on Call of Duty is because, you know, ultimately we have got access to the staff. Like you said, it's probably hard to get our foot in the door with the Halo forum, like FR or whatever. Whereas with the French equivalent of Deserto, we own that as it is Deserto do. So it's easy for me to speak to my own staff and say, guys, help us out here. The same goes. We have Deserto Spain. EU Esports, the PlayStation community, there's EU Esports France, EU Esports Spain. So it's a lot easier to get everyone together with that, whereas Halo FR is a completely different entity. But, you know, we're looking at exploring these kind of avenues. Same with Gears of War, you know, there's a big thriving, I think, Italian scene and French scene with that, and we're trying to get our feet in the door there and kind of say, guys, let's all come together, see what we can do. So, you know, it's a work in progress. But ultimately, you know, I think I want to kind of get back to the main reason why I'm here, which is, you know, almost to defend EGL, especially from an event standpoint. And like now, Mike is actually on the mic. Now, especially, I was wondering if you, Mike, have anything particular that you were disappointed in, anything that you wanted to address. I don't know why. I feel like I'm hosting it a bit. just drop Tim's from the call.
I think one of the key factors was, you know, if you take it back to ECL1, you know, it was amazing. Anybody who attended, you know, it was the venue, the setup, everything about it was brilliant. I think from ECL2 onwards, I think the only thing that I could really say progressed in terms of Halo was the fact that we were able to get a stream going. Because as far as I remember, I don't think we had a stream at ECL2 for Halo.
It's just no. Oh, ECL2.
ECL2.
No, I don't think so. I mean, obviously, if we go back to ECL1, obviously resources were ridiculous in comparison. But also, Halo dominated the main stage, so it's kind of a reverse of Call of Duty basically now.
Yeah.
And so Halo got a lot of time there, whereas now it's been scaled back, which, as we've already discussed, is something that we were looking to address.
Can I jump in there? What's your initial thoughts to this comment then? That EGL now, obviously from a business point of view, it's going to be a moneymaker. But what do you think to the comments of pretty much that EGL is just COD ruled now then, and that we're just chucked in a corner?
I can see why, you know, there'd be aspects of that you would consider that to some degree. COD is dominant there. It's kind of not surprising, really, obviously, when you see the numbers. But I don't think that you guys are kind of alienated to a ridiculous level. There's two other games that get very similar treatment. If anything, you probably get better treatment than those games. You get more stations and stuff like that. We've always tried to be quite generous with the stations to make sure that we can get the most out of the weekend, depending on how many days we do it and such. I wouldn't say, you know, we're completely neglecting Halo by any stretch. And there is an element of, you know, I agree with a lot of what Johnston said, but there are limitations behind EGL as well. At times, it makes sense for us to focus our resources, not for us to line our pockets, but ultimately, you know, if Call of Duty semi-piggybacks us all, then hopefully everyone will benefit in the long run. So I mean, if EGL, if Call of Duty can bring in more sponsorship and stuff like that, you know, if we can get into nicer venues, Halo's ultimately going to benefit from that as well, because the Halo tournament's going to take place in there. So it's not, you know, it's not like we're intentionally just, like I said, fobbing off Halo and just thinking, leave it to themselves. You know, we care about Halo as much as, you know, Halo 3 is probably the game I've got the most game time on since I've had an Xbox 360. It's a game I've been passionate about. I've always been around the community. In recent times, I haven't been posting nearly as much. Not nearly as much as I should anyway. But, you know, most guys can testify that back in the day, at least, I used to post a considerable amount. And it's an area that I'd be sad to lose, to be honest.
Okay. Well, fair enough then. I think I'll move on to a question that's pretty much, for me, is going to be your biggest winner as such and loser of people participating. And this, you know it's coming anyway, don't you? The prize money.
Yeah.
Couple of questions then. One, first of all, what is with the prize money, and why does it take so long for you to win a competition and get paid out? What's all that about?
Basically, you know, this it is a really, like, it's a sad aspect for us and for me really, because we've kind of, Josh and I especially, have kind of grown up around the scene. We started attending tournaments, that kind of thing. We've both experienced events where there's been difficulties getting paid, and then when we were coming through it, it was one of those things that we were kind of like, oh, we never want to be those kind of guys. We don't want to be those guys that are having to tell the players, you're going to have to wait a bit longer for your prize money, that kind of thing. And then one thing led to another, and a number of months ago now, there's obviously the collapse in the game industry to some degree. We had a number of sponsors go into administration. Obviously, you kind of, at a certain point when contracts are signed, you're going to spend that money. And then all of a sudden, it became a case of like, when it comes to administration, they actually they have preferred shareholders, they have preferred creditors that they'll pay. So it'll go down the line, so they'll pay like debentures first, then creditors, and it'll go down that line. And obviously, we're pretty low in the pecking order. So next thing you know, we're out of pocket by a considerable amount. And since then, it's kind of been like, we've had to run an event and run exhibitions, do all sorts of stuff in order to kind of make this money back and be able to pay the players the money. So it's just been a constant knock-on effect, but it's something that, as somebody's pointed out in the chat, Josh said there's going to be an announcement on it soon, and there is. I can assure you that we are working. We work long hours trying to basically not just recover this, but get into a strong financial position where we can run the event and go, oh, well done Sims, or well done Slinky, you've won cash, here's your prize, because how awesome would that be to do that? And that's our ultimate goal.
No, I understand from a I'm not a simple-minded person. I understand from a company, certain things, but from a company's point of view, it's not just easy enough just to go chucking money around. But when you've still got people, even in different countries and places and things like that, still begging on Twitter, it seems, for money just to get paid out. It just seems long-winded. It's like the people are going to tournaments, and it's like they're paying into a tournament, but really you still owe them money. It's like they're kind of in debt. They're essentially in credit with you because you owe them money. Essentially, that's the only problem with it. And it's just the time frame. And I can understand you're not going to get certain competitions do. There's your money. You've won it. Bang on, away you go. Enjoy. But it does seem like, I'm not one to experience it myself. I'm not that good enough, but it does seem like there is a damn long wait for people. I think that's pissing a lot of people off, to be honest.
Oh, we know. We know, and we definitely. Put it this way: we don't want to be in this position as much as the players don't. It's just it's rinsing our reputation. It's not the time consuming factor. I don't mind the players asking, because they're entitled to do that, and I'm happy to field the questions, that kind of thing. We try to release updates. There's only so many updates we can do before it starts getting stupid, really. But it's a sad situation. Like I said, it's not a situation we want to be in. We're not proud of it. Like I said, it's time consuming. It's everything that we didn't want to be, and then it just kind of one day we were just stuck in it. But it's something that we will get out of, and we're almost out of, and it's something that we really want to put behind us now.
I don't want you to, well, if you want to close that one off, then there's a final thing on it. Then, and obviously I don't know if there's any way you can do something like that. If there is anybody out there watching this who's owed any money, what's the best thing for them to do as such, rather than airing it on Skype and airing it on Twitter and things like that? What is, for anybody that's owed any money by yourselves who's won a prize, what is the best route for them to take, and what's the best thing for them to do right now?
Good question, actually. Like I said, I'm happy to always give updates. My Skype is Imperial Mellow, one word. Please don't DDoS me. You can add me. I'm happy to answer your questions. You can DM me on Twitter or whatever. Again, I'll answer your questions. If you can email me, chris.marsh@egl.tv. Make sure you've sent in your prize claim form, so as soon as the money hits our accounts, you can start hitting your accounts, because if you've been waiting for ages, you don't want to be a case of, I'm obviously going to have to start paying people out straight away. So you're going to be down the pecking order if you've not sent your form in, because ultimately I'm going to be tied up chasing. I'm going to be paying people rather than chasing people at first and stuff like that. So yeah, just make sure you're prepared to be paid. If you want an update, the best thing to do is really Skype me about it. It's the way you'll get the quickest answer.
And is it a first come first serve, or is it like the older tournaments first and then moving on to thing, or is it simply who gets the shit in first?
It'll all come at once. It'll all be paid in one bulk, EGL 7 and EGL 8, and hopefully a good chunk of EGL 9. So yeah, it's a case of, I'll just go down the list. Pal, you've sent your form, you sent your form, you sent your form, until everyone's paid, basically. What's coming through now? So yeah,
it's fine.
again, you know, I would like to apologise to the players and stuff, and as I've stated on the forum, and one thing that a few people kind of brought up, and that I just wanted to clarify, is that this isn't a Halo only problem. And you know, I think a lot of people kind of saw the way that Halo was getting this main stage time, and kind of joined dots as in we'd put the kind of debt onto Halo and be like, pay them last, we don't really care. But no, everyone's suffering equally in this department. And like I said, once again, I just want to apologise, especially, you know, I've got a lot of friends who are owed money now. And it is honestly quite sad to have to turn around to your friends on a continual basis, who a lot of them are young, a lot of them need the money, and for me to say to them, like, sorry mate, we've still not got it, and that kind of thing. And you know, 1 minute it looks like it's going to hit our account, and then we get like something, you know, slows it down a bit, and then, you know, I've kind of said, oh mate, we should have it this weekend, and you want to be able to say to your friend, oh, you should be able to get it this weekend, and then the next thing you know, we can't pay it, and it's like, you know, sorry mate. And that's probably the worst bit of it, to be honest, actually having to tell your friends that you can't. I don't know if anyone's ever owed the friends money, but you kind of probably experienced that, and like, it's a crap feeling, to be honest, and it's a feeling that, you know, I'd be so relieved to get out of it once we're not having this problem anymore.
Okay, so it's definitely top of your priorities then, at least.
Oh,
we can say that, and we can knock it on them.
Yeah.
All right then. We will look at next. I did have one in my head. It's just completely and utterly gone. EGL 10 and, well, could be 11. What dates? Do we have any dates yet? And why were the original ones cancelled?
It's going to be the end of July, start of August, and quite simply, the venue that we were looking to use, we're not anymore. Our big issue is that the way that our events kind of are geared and stuff is that it's simply, the money is very tight. You know, there's very limited we can do with the budget. You know, even to break even, we're not lining our pockets with a shitload of money by trying to cut back as much as possible. For the size of hall we need and the amount of income we make, the options around the country are very, very limited. You know, you get a lot of venues that are coming back and they're asking as much as we earn from ticket money, and that's without paying tax or without paying prize money or without, you know, not that we've been doing that lately, or without, you know, renting any tables, chairs, you know, paying the security, paying the networking, all that kind of thing. There's so much to pay for. And, you know, when we were going around the country, look around a venue, and then at the end it kind of, all of a sudden it's a lot higher than anticipated, and it's like, it's just out of, it's no longer feasible, and then that's kind of what left us in the situation. However, you know, we've got a few promising leads in new venues. Ideally, we don't want to be going back to Blackpool because...
Can you give us any locations?
I think it was tweeted out lately that we were looking at Newcastle, for example. That is just one location we've been looking at.
Me and Adam are smiling. We'll take Newcastle.
But you know, we've been looking at some places down south as well, actually, lately. We mentioned it briefly on the forum as well, as we're going to be looking to do like a Halo only tournament.
Is that guaranteed then? Was that not just something that was said? Is that absolute guarantee? Is there going to be a Halo specific tournament?
At some point, we will be looking to do it. We've been discussing kind of formats and stuff, and the kind of ideas we came up with is we could either do something that's just Halo 4 all weekend, or we could have a day of Halo 4 and a day of Halo 3 or Halo 2. So, you know, there's a lot of things we kind of... it was actually originally an idea, I think, of Conspiracies, who ran XL, and he was wanting to do a Halo-only tournament where you played Halo 2, 3, well, 1, 2, and 3, CE 2 and 3, and we've kind of picked up that, and we're looking to run with it at some point, because I think it would be an entertaining weekend for people, to be honest.
I do think it would be probably something... not necessarily by way of apology, but something that would definitely cheer up the community. I'll give it that much. So EGL 10 is that definite end of July, start of August? Is that a definite date set in stone?
Well, we'll announce a date hopefully soon. So I mean, if we don't have, we'll have an event around that time.
Definitely.
Definitely.
Around those dates.
Yeah, because otherwise, you know, if it's 8 months between events, it's too long. So.
Have those dates been, and well, this kind of falls back into my next question then as such. i49, obviously I think, you know, things have jumped on the bandwagon a little bit. They've realised that there is, a few people have contacted them. There's a gap in the market that can be filled by recent events. Is your date mirroring the fact that it's just before then, that date that you're putting on, or is that just a blind date that you were going for anyway, regardless of whether I49 would have been on or not?
if you look at when we actually originally announced, it was that time. We've not changed it. We're not trying to clash with iSeries. I mean, in fairness, like I'm a fan of iSeries myself. I've been to maybe 11 now. You know, I tend to do Call of Duty coverage. In the past, I played Halo 3 there. So you know, this isn't a lot of people think there's a massive hatred between us, but there isn't at all really. Yeah. You know, the events can coincide as long as you know the community are willing to get behind both. That's the only worry, obviously.
I think that's the only thing that I'd probably be concerned at the moment with a certain state of affairs is that even someone like myself, I don't even know if I'd be able to really be afford to be travelling down at the start of the month, you know, and then travelling somewhere else and paying somewhere else at end of month. I only get one wage and I've got a lot of stuff that I don't know whether I could afford to do both. Whether that has a detrimental effect or not, I don't know. That's going to be a very interesting one.
I think to be honest. Yeah, I think it'll be interesting, but you know, ultimately, it's down to the customer. You know, which event you prefer to attend ultimately. So I can't say much different to that. You know, I have a lot of respect for what iSeries have done.
Yeah.
They've done a lot for esports in the UK, and they'll continue to do a lot. And I hope so will we, to be honest. So, you know, we'll continue to try and improve our events. As discussed, we'll continue to try and work with the community to improve our events, work with our community to improve the community as a whole. And you know, hopefully over time, if people do decide to go the way of iSeries, that we'll win back the faith and eventually, you know, put on an event that people want to attend.
Right. All right. Good. Generally from me, that's most of the questions. I'm just going to have a quick skip through some of the... well, in fact, this is a good one. I was going to say this myself, but I'll go. Someone called Logic Loves You on the forum. It's quite blunt, and I'm sure you'll give it. This is kind of going to be swaying people's decisions. If the community decided to go to iSeries instead of EGL, why? What would EGL try to compete and win back Halo? So basically, what would you guys do if you know? What are you guys going to do for us at EGL 10 that makes us? I know you got no favours, anything like that, but why should we come to your event over iSeries?
This is a tough question to answer, not because I don't have reasons, but because, you know, in many ways it would be, I wouldn't want to say something detrimental about their event and something positive about our event. But what I will say is, I don't think our events are miles off what people want. You know what I mean? Like, people will attend iSeries. I don't think it'll be that different to an EGL event. You know what I mean? You're not going to get there and go like, wow, EGL's a pile of crap. It will be ultimately a very similar tournament, you know. I don't want to discuss the kind of main stage time you'll get there, that kind of thing. I don't want to speculate over that. But you know, what
will you do for us though? What's going to be what if I've got to pick between you and iSeries, for me to give you my money? What are you going to do for me there?
Like I said, you know, we just need to put more focus on the Halo tournament ultimately. Than there has been, you know, kind of give you that more of a glamorous aspect of things. Obviously, we'll remember the Atom this time. I don't think that mistake's going to be repeated. So the broadcast will be a lot better. You know, we'll be working a lot closer with the community in the run up to the event to make sure that things are perfect, regardless of the numbers, whether or not there's 8 teams or whether or not there's 40 teams. We want to make sure that, you know, for the attendees, that they're getting the most value for money ultimately. We want to maximise the time. Make sure that you guys are ultimately happier with the thing. You know, the main criticisms are ultimately the prize money and the main stage time in terms of the events itself. Hopefully, the money will be resolved by then, and you know how we resolve the main stage stuff is this conversations need to take place with that. But ultimately, we will come up with something that should hopefully satisfy everyone involved.
Getting again off the back of that one, but would there? If someone mentioned this on the phone, I think it's quite a good question. I don't know whether you can answer it, things like that. Would you? Are you be willing to keep the prices the same, or will they be coming down?
The prices will remain fixed. That is
will they remain exactly the same?
Yes.
That's fine. And so there's no chance of them going up then?
The prices are remaining fixed for the foreseeable future. They're not going to be increasing. If 8 teams attend, we're not going to increase it for the sake of raising the prize pot or anything like that, or you know, making more money off Halo. It wouldn't work like that, to be honest. I think the price is competitive compared to other events. Yeah. You know, if you book early, you get a very good price. And so I think the price is, you know, fair as it stands.
Right, I've looked through a question. To be honest with you, I think anything else that I'm really going to ask you, you've generally covered. guys, Adam, Harry, I'll put this back to you. Is there anything, or even Michael as well, is there anything any of you guys would like to ask Mr. Mellow Marsh himself while we are here and while we have him as our time?
I have a quick question.
Sure.
Mellow, are you disappointed with how your Halo Imperial teams have performed at events?
I kind of I missed the Imperial stuff on that note. Ollie, who was like the PC manager, he texted me recently out of the blue and said that he was thinking of doing it again. But no, I wasn't, to be honest. One of the thing I was probably most disappointed with was the fact that I didn't really get what I could get out of Imperial because I was running the event. You know, the actual the event itself. What was so fun about running a team was like it was something that was very much, you know, I did to my own financial detriment at least. But you know, it was good to kind of get behind the lads at events when I wasn't working and stuff, and kind of you do feel a real air of like support and stuff like that. It's like going to a football match and, you know, supporting Leeds. I do. In the same kind of way, I'd go to a game. I'd watch it at LAN and support Imperial, and, you know, you kind of, even though you're not playing, it's hard not to experience the highs and lows, like, you know, the joys when you win. And no, like the teams I picked up were, the reasoning was quite straightforward. You know, like I got on with the guys in the team. Unfortunately, I didn't really get to know the Halo guys, including you, as much as I would have liked to. But, you know, from conversations I had with you guys, I thought you were all real good guys. So I thought, I've said guys a lot in that last paragraph. But yeah, I thought you were all like decent members of the community and stuff, and the kind of people that I wanted to, you know, help support to get to events. So that was my rationale behind that. So no real disappointment, to be honest. You know, it was one of those things. I didn't expect you to rinse the event, and then, you know, there was no disappointment. I know the scenes well enough to know roughly how well players will do.
Yeah. Thank you.
Harry, are we all clear? Oh.
I'm content with that.
Michael, anything you'd like to finish off there with?
Nope.
Nope. Right. Yeah, I think from all of us here then, and probably all the rest of the Unio community, Chris, I'd like to thank you for coming on the show. You've given some fantastic answers. I'm hoping this has given the community what they wanted to hear, especially where money's concerned and things like that. I'm sure you can appreciate it's been a big one. Is there anything you would like to say to sign off with?
No, other than, you know, I'll be on the forum a lot more now. I kind of understand if people will still ultimately be disappointed in, you know, the way the EGL has handled things. And of course, you know, they're going to see me as part of the blame for that, and I understand that kind of thing. So, but that's not going to deter my usage. And the same with Mike and Bennett, the same with Josh. You know, we're going to be on the forum a lot more, and hopefully, you know, we can become a bigger part of the community as individuals.
Right then. So from all of us here, Chris, I'd like to thank you very much, and I wish you good luck for all of EGL in the future, pal.
Yeah, and same to you guys.
All
Appreciate
right.
you having me on.
Not a problem. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks, man.
Right, guys. Yeah, that were good. I hope you all got your answers that you were looking for there. I hope things do change, and I hope Chris appreciates, you know, how people feel now. I'm sure he did anyway before. But yeah, I hope you all got some answers there. Let's see how it pans out. Should be an interesting one though, guys, for the date, shouldn't it? 1 month between Insomnia. 1 month between Insomnia and EGL 10. That should be a good one for everybody to talk about, to be honest.
For me, it's going to be a choice completely between the two.
I go on holiday in September.
I don't have the money. For me, it entirely comes down to where EGL is located. If it's up north, I don't think I can face going up there again. It's so ugly.
Whoa.
No,
strong.
Oh, just kidding. Okay. No, I mean, if it's in an appealing location to me, I could still go. But if it's in Blackpool or anywhere like that again, I don't see me going, unfortunately.
But yeah, no. Your exact comments last week was you simply will be going for the community and the competition.
That is true. But
do you not think it's going to be pretty much where the forums decide who's going? Not the decide, but where everyone's going. Are you not going to follow suit then?
Oh yeah, absolutely. But at the moment, it looks like a lot of teams are going to I-Series, and also, I don't have the money. I honestly thought EGL maybe could have been announced a little bit closer, or maybe even after I-Series. I think even the community, I don't know, I can't speak on behalf of the community, but obviously I think some of them could have maybe done with, I don't know, maybe an event announced after I-Series, or maybe even a bit closer beforehand. But yeah, for me it's bad timing. I I just don't have the funds, unfortunately.
See how it goes then. Right, guys. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. We are now going to move on. We're going to do it as kind of a transition phase. We're going to put the link in the bottom of the forum, sorry, the bottom of the video anyway, so you can click on it and do it. We are, at the moment, Top Mid is looking to get I'll let Meekel explain it a little bit more when we invite him on, but there is, at the moment, a donations page on the Top Mid forum. Now, regardless of whether you want to donate or not, that's entirely up to you, but as an EU community, we are trying to put, as John's put it, push for better, and we are trying to do things, and poor old Roy, Mr. Soccer himself, the king of streaming, the king of technology, he's kindly put up a donations thing. Now, this is for a Blackmagic ATEM. Now, like I said, I'm not too sure. I kind of know what it is, but I'm going to let Meekel explain it more. That's kind of what we're going to run with at the moment. So, for the time being, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome on Mr. Michael Valentine, a.k.a. Meekel, co-owner of topmid.eu. Michael, welcome to the show.
Good evening.
Are you all right?
Yeah, not too bad. Yourself?
Yeah, good, thank you. Thanks for joining us all here. Did you enjoy Chris's interview with Chris?
It was very good.
Did you
very professional as always.
Did you get some answers that you were looking for yourself, or?
Yeah, definitely. I think also with hearing from Josh on I think it was Sunday. So yeah, I think that answered quite a lot of what the community were after.
Yeah, he did a good job. Good job to Josh. So we'll lead straight away with the Blackmagic ATEM. Can you just explain to the community what it is, what it's for, and why they should donate?
No problem. So the Blackmagic ATEM is basically a piece of hardware. It's pretty much the same. It's actually the same one that we use at EGL. Obviously, that belongs to EGL, and we're in the process of looking to buy our own one. The reasons for that are mainly because that means we're able to provide a better stream at upcoming Insomnia 49. So that'll give us 4 points of view. And also we'd be able to take that to any EGL events to give us 8 points of view. So just in general, not only offering a stream to events that might not have one, or, you know, and also upgrading the stream that's already at events such as EGL to hopefully make them bigger and better.
So essentially, we could turn up to an event as Top Mid and stream the event basically ourselves.
Yeah, we could stream an event ourselves. Any title.
I know I'm putting you kind of on the spot here a bit, Mike, but
here we go.
As it's sort of a community-funded project. Say a trusted member of the community was holding a social LAN. Would there be wiggle room maybe for them to pick up the actual piece of hardware and maybe stream 8 points of view at that social LAN, considering they helped pay for it and it's sort of almost like a community-owned piece of hardware?
Yeah, there's no reason that can't happen. Obviously, there's going to be certain conditions tied to it because obviously it's it's an equipment that costs around around £700. So obviously, any damage to that is going to be pricey to fix. So as long as I'm sure there's no issue. I think if me and Roy spoke and it was with a trusted member of the community, I don't see any issue with that at all.
So a good reason to put your money in then, basically. Another good reason. Right then. Okay, yeah, so the link's going to be in the show below after we've done this. I'm hoping someone puts it below us on the YouTube show. Yeah, anything you can donate, no matter how big, how small it is, guys. We're pushing for better. This will only help us out and put a foothold and try and save Halo and put us a bit of a foothold on the map a little bit more. Show the Yanks up. Try and get on top of things. So yeah, anything you can donate. I'll certainly, when I get paid, I'll give you 50p towards it. No, I'll give it more than that. £50.
Every little helps.
Every little helps, yeah. So yeah, dig deep, guys. Come on, dig deep. Right. So thanks for joining us on the show then. Insomnia. Now,
yes,
we have to call it Insomnia or i49, don't we?
Yes, it's Insomnia 49 or i49. They've totally dropped the brand I series. So
right.
I got strongly worried about that today. So I had to make sure that any references were correct on the website. So yeah, it's Insomnia and it's i49. That's
okay. What's it all about, Michael? What's going to be happening? Who's going to be running it? And what's it going to be like? Go on, give us a big rundown then.
So, I think it was last week, we made contact with Multiplay, talking about the possibility of getting Halo 4 at i49. I'd found out that there was already a couple of proposals that had gone to them. One, as far as I know, came in last month, sort of mid-April. Somebody approached them, and I don't know how many people knew about it. Me and Roy definitely didn't know, and I don't think any of our staff sort of knew. So we approached them. We sent a proposal in over the weekend that detailed what we were going over, and obviously I think it was on Friday it was announced that officially Halo 4 is going to be at i49, which was massive news. You know, I think any competition to EGL, I'm sure Chris and anybody else at EGL would agree that any competition is good competition. So the minimum prize pool is £2,000, which multiplayer are putting up. Trying to think what else I can go into it. As soon as we hit 20 teams, the prize pool goes up to £2,400. So there's a breakdown on their website. If you go to insomniagamingfestival.com, you can go to the tournament section. That will show you the prize breakdown. You can also sign up and buy your tickets to it. I can officially say that Top Mid are going to be running the tournament there, which is really good news. So they were happy enough with their proposal to entrust us with that. So obviously that's happening over the 23rd to the 26th of August at the Telford International Centre. Now the actual dates for the tour, like as in when the 4v4 Halo 4 tournament will be run, are still to be agreed upon. Mainly because we're still working out on the structure and the scheduling, and also any potential main stage time. I'll throw that out there now because that's still to be all agreed upon. Because obviously they run a very, very tight ship. Anyone who's been to Insomnia event before will know. So we're looking towards that, but there's no guarantees as of yet until we get further into the sort of discussions. So if you have any questions, guys, then I'll try and answer as much as I know.
Okay. Who's this is one that I'd like to know anyway. So officially, who's going to be running the actual tournament itself then and deciding all these things?
At the minute, it's me and Roy that are heading it up.
Yep.
Mainly because there was other proposals floating about from people in the community, and that's good. That's people are one step ahead of us, to be perfectly honest, and that gives us a kick up the backside, if anything. And so basically, me and Roy are going to be heading it up in terms of making any of the major decisions in the lead up to the event. In terms of who's going to be, in terms of running the schedule or any sort of referees, anything like that, that's all still to be decided. But for the time being, it'll be me and Roy that are making any of the decisions. But also, of course, as always, it's for the community. So there's going to be, I'm sure, numerous polls. Everybody loves a good poll. Up on the website, asking you guys if you have any opinions on things that we're doing. It's always good to get input from you guys.
Adam, Harry, I'm going to open this up to you. Have you got any questions for Meekel regarding Insomnia?
Harry?
No, I was just having a laugh at Mellow's friend coming along and doing the ironing on the ironing board in the background. I'm I'm really looking forward to the Insomnia event. It's obviously been a while since Halo's actually been at Insomnia. In terms of what you were talking about, structure-wise, I believe it was a Saturday to Sunday event with no main stage time, or was it Friday to Saturday with main stage? And it comes back to what you say about Insomnia. Insomnia running a really, really tight ship, and because they try and get as many games as they can on main stage. They have League of Legends, they have StarCraft, they have Call of Duty, they have all kinds of games. They try and get the finals of their tournaments on main stage. So yeah, it'll be. I don't really know which I'd prefer, because obviously a Saturday to Sunday tournament would be obviously if we run it over the entire weekend of the Insomnia event, we could have space for pool play as well as an FFA and maybe even some feature matches and stuff like that. But it all comes down to whether or not we want the main stage time, which a lot of the community have suggested that we need. So yeah, I'm just really looking forward. It's a really exciting time in the European Halo community, especially with EGL making all these changes and trying to improve their events for us, as well as the new Insomnia event.
The person who signed up, I think it was Alexis Trust, possibly, on the forum. She's been doing her best to explain the difference between BYOC and TUP. Just for people, I've had a few questions fired my way myself anyway, and I didn't know until I read this, but for people who haven't actually read her posts and things like that, what's the difference between TUP and BYOC, and what's the difference in the tickets? What are they going to get you, and where they're going to get you, exactly?
Okay, so the Halo 4 tournament, the 4v4 that's taking place at Insomnia 49, will be a turn-up-and-play tournament. So the minimum ticket you need to participate will be the turn-up-and-play, which, as long as your website is correct, would be £55. So that gets you entry for the entire weekend and also entry into the Halo 4 4v4 tournament. Now, if anybody wants to bring their Xbox and their monitor, and they can reserve a seat and a desk, and they can get that for the entire weekend. That's to bring you the BYOC, the BYOC. That'll include tournament entry as well into the Halo 4 4v4, and that's £92. So the only difference really is that you can bring your Xbox and your monitor. You have a desk. You rent a seat through their website, and you can sit and play games all weekend for as long as you want, really.
Sounds like a good plan to me, just sitting there scrimming while waiting for games. Just to cover what you mentioned over the prize pool things, they've got the actual list here. As you mentioned, it going up minimum £2,000 minimum regardless. 20 teams, 2,400. 25 takes a sharp jump up, 600 quid to 3,000. That gives its first prize of 1,500. If it goes to 32, we then get it goes up even more, and it goes up nearly £1,000. If we get 32 teams attending this event, our prize pool goes to 3,850. That gives a first place prize of 1,900, a second place prize of 1,000. There's some really, really good prizes. And just also to alliterate on the minimum of 20 people, if it's below 20, it seems to be placed cash prized first, second, and third. If it goes to 20, fourth place seems, from what I'm reading here, is also funded as well, which is 200 quid for fourth place. Still better than no. I'm looking forward to it myself. I can't think of anything else really that I need to ask you about. You've kind of covered everything that I wanted to know about it.
Well, one thing I'll add is in the run-up to Insomnia 49, we'll hopefully be running a sort of an online tournament, as such a qualifier. It's all to be confirmed, so this is still in pencil. But there should be a tournament running on our website where the winning team will get 4 BYOC tickets, which is nice. So we'll open that up once everything sort of gets confirmed. It's still written in pencil. Nothing's 100% confirmed, but that's what we're planning to do. Hopefully, over the coming month and a half.
Sweet. What do you have? I've just completed what you're going to say. What we're going to say then? What we're going to say?
Sorry.
What are the ideas to do as far as? I mean, we've spoke about it ourselves. What are your ideas and your thoughts on the seedings at the moment to go into Insomnia?
Seedings is a very, very, very good question.
Don't have any.
Because obviously, we had EGL9 where we had Halo 4. I'll be honest with you, I forgot how Aaron did the seedings.
Community vote.
Was it all community vote?
Top eight, and then it was pool play to seed below that.
No, it was community vote for top 8, and then FFA seeded players on the teams into pools, and then pools sorted out the rest of the season.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that I don't think me and Roy are really in a position to say, all right, this is how we're going to do it. We don't care what anybody else says. That would be silly of us, to be perfectly honest. There's going to be no matter who we ask in the community, there's never. I think it's going to be tough even to get a majority decision of what people agree on. That's just the way. Everybody has their own opinion. Everybody's allowed their own opinion. We've just got to take that on board. It's one of those things where we'll probably come up with, I don't know, maybe three sort of ideas in terms of seedings, and then come together with. I don't think it's fair to separate the pros from the rest in terms of asking their opinion. I think that creates a little bit too much segregation. We already have it in terms of per country. If we start doing that in terms of Britain, then I think that's taking a step back and a step forward. So I think trying to get as many people involved in the decision, especially something as important as seeding. The amount of times you'll get people saying, "Oh, the bracket screwed me over," you'll get at least 2 or 3 teams every event say that. Sometimes it does, but sometimes seeds aren't the cause of it. So yeah, at the end of the day, people are going to have if people have an opinion, they've got to make it loud and clear.
Right. Well, when everyone signs up, right, get a massive fishbowl. Okay. You get. I'm putting this in that a load of ping pong balls. And you write everyone's number on them. There on the day, you pull them out like they do on football, and you put them up on the boards. You don't care who you are. You don't get nothing. You don't get no seed. Then the good teams will fight the brackets regardless of what you do. And then for Insomnia 50, you get top 8 seeds. No seeds!
Has to be one of the worst ideas I've ever heard, because I think that would be the only way in hell that a player like me would get a top 4 seed. So that's probably... Actually, I actually quite kind of like that idea.
There you go. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one, is that, which I do look forward to hearing from yourself and Roy on how we're going to do it, because I don't personally know if I agreed with the EGL ones of having people... a community voting, which, to be fair, it wasn't that far off when you looked at it, the top 8, and you looked at in fairness, it wasn't that far off, but still, I think where money's concerned, it's got to be done fairly and can't be done off unbiased opinions.
Yeah, I totally agree.
It's a little bit difficult, this one, because I don't have anything lined up for it. Is there anything else you want to say, Meekel, in regards to Insomnia? Is there any information you want to give us, or anything you want to give a shout-out to?
I want to thank Multiplay first, especially Alexis, who's the community manager at Multiplay, for making a presence on the forum, and also Matt, the esports manager, who I've had contact with at Multiplay. They've both been a massive help over the past sort of week, trying to help us out and see where we could go with the proposal and whether we were the right men for the job. So many thanks to them for giving us the opportunity, and I just think that the community have to get behind this to make Multiplay see that it's worthwhile. They're putting a lot of time and money into it, and I think we're rather lucky to get Halo for it and Insomnia event, so we have to make the most of it.
I'm down for that one. Right, I think time's pushing on a little bit now, so I think we're going to wrap it up. Meekel, I want to say thank you for coming on the show and sharing that with us. And if there's anything, I know you always put it on the forum straight away, but if there's anything else you want to get out to the community, just give us a shout, come on the show and let everyone know about it. It's probably easier to talk about stuff like the TUP and things like that than it is putting it down in words. So if there's anything you want to come and say on this show, and that's the same to Chris as well, I know he's still listening out there. If there's anything you want to announce or come on this show, just give me a shout on Skype and you can come in here and tell the community about it. It's not a problem at all. Right, yeah, thank you both for coming on. It's been a fantastic thing. It would appear that either Michael's put his phone down and disconnected, I don't know. He's come back, there he is. Thank you both for coming on. It's been a fantastic experience, and we've probably all learned an awful lot in regards to both EGL9 and Insomnia.
EGL 10, you mean?
Shut up, you. Correcting all the time. You think you are? Yeah, thank you very much, guys. Adam, Harry, is anything you want to sign off with? Anything you want to add to either of them?
The only thing I want to say quickly is that it's the same with EGL. I'm sure it's the same with Insomnia. If anyone needs the community's help, we're here to help. We're not here against, either or. We're just trying to make sure it's easier for both worlds. So,
cheers.
Yeah, and we need to make sure we get behind tournaments that are being offered for us, whether they're new or they are old. Just get behind them.
Right, guys, we're going to call it there. I want to thank everyone that's going to be watching this in advance. Big thanks to Chris, big thanks to Meekel. Big thank you to Adam and Harry as ever for coming on the show. Well, running the show with me, guys. and also Hamza in the background. You don't see him, but everything that you've seen here today is produced and made by him, and we couldn't do this show without him, so a big thank you to them. You want to follow us on Twitter? His Twitter tags and handles are usually on there, but if you could, do us a favour, subscribe to the show, and also have a look at Top Mid and have a look on that donation section for the I can't remember what it's called now, the thing we're trying to buy for the streams.
Black Magic.
There we go. The Black Magic. Yeah. Right, guys. This is Sims, and we're going to call it there. Thanks for watching.